Haristuti Shloka 25. Yasya tarkyam swatma vibhutev paramartham sarvam khalvityatra niruktam shruti-vidbhihi tajjaditvad abdhitarangabhamabhinnam tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimide. Anvayarthaha swatma vibhutehe yasya paramartham atarkyam sarvam khalu iti atra shruti-vidbhihi niruktam tajjaditvat abdhitarangabham abhinnam tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ide. Swatma vibhutehe yasya. Swatma vibhutehe. Vibhuti means the mahima, the greatness. Swa atma, greatness of the self, of its own self. Its own self means yasya, that parameshwarasya. So swatma vibhutehe yasya, from the greatness of his own nature, that paramatma's paramartham means that reality, that absolute truth of that Paramatma is from his own nature. And what is that absolute reality? That has been taught in the Upanishad as avyaktaha, akhandaha, avyayam, trividha paricheda shunyam. All these words we have been learning through the previous verses. Further, that reality is such that it is atarkyam, one that is beyond reason. You cannot really use so many words and explain what is that Paramatma, what is that Paramartha Tattvam. Iti in certain number of questions, by reasoning also, you cannot really explain or define that Paramartha. And about this Paramartha Tattvam, this essential reality, the Upanishad says Sarvam Khalu, that is Sarvam Khalu Brahma. Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma iti the Chandogya Upanishad says, which means all that is here is indeed that Paramatma. Iti atra, about this Upanishad statement, what are the teachers telling? Shruti-vidbhihi, the scholars of the Vedas. By them, these words of the Upanishads have been learned very well, and then those words of the Upanishads which describe Brahman, that niruktam, by these scholars of Vedas, that has been explained very well. Niruktam means explained very well and clearly. Now that explanation is given in this brief word, tajjaditvat. Tajjaditvat means this world which is in the manifest form, it is coming into the creation and then it is sustained by that same Paramatma and it merges in Paramatma. So Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, everything happens within Paramatma itself. That is what this brief word Tajjaditvat says. We'll see a little more meaning later. And then this is similar to Abdhi Tarangabham. Abdhi, ocean, Taranga, waves, Abham, similar to. So like the ocean and waves, in which the ocean is a name for the body of water. Waves arise from water, they merge again in water, and for some time they are sustained by water only. Then, like that, just as the ocean and the waves are never separate from water, Abhinnam, this Paramatma is non-separate from creation. Tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimide. I worship that Hari, that Paramatma, knowing whom the ignorance which causes samsara is destroyed. Now we will look at the meaning in little more detail. The knowledge about Brahman, what is Brahman, what is the nature of Jiva, what is the origin and nature of this whole universe. This forms the subject matter of Vedanta. And further, to know Brahman as the truth of one's own self is the essential teaching. So this is further explained in this shloka. So Swatma Vibhutehe. It means that Paramatma, by his own glory, he is manifest and appears in the form of these varied names and forms which form the creation. So Brahman is both the material cause and then the efficient cause also of this Jagat, the creation. And how does he become both the material cause and efficient cause? Is he getting the help of something outside of himself? No, without the aid of anything external to itself. That is why the word in the shloka says Swatma Vibhutehe. So with his own material, Brahman is the cause which appears as many and is manifest in a variety of forms. We do see in the world there are so many varieties and varieties of living things and non-living things. And in each variety itself, there are so many differences. You talk about the plant kingdom or the animal kingdom. Within every species of animals itself, you will find so many other differences and varieties. For example, you just look at the fish. How many sizes are there, forms and colors seen? You will find an amazing variety in them. Now, the point here is, how does one Paramatma appear in so many forms? Now, this is to be understood. To understand how one and only Paramatma appears in so many forms, Shastra usually takes the example of gold. You take, let's say, 1 ton of gold and you make so many ornaments out of it. Gold, the material, is one only, but the ornaments are so many. Can you count the gold out and let the ornaments remain? No. The ornaments will have nothing of their own. They cannot sustain without gold. So you infer that all that you see, the different ornaments, are only names and forms of that one material, gold. This is called one becoming many. Another example is, you take wooden furnitures. From the same wood, so many different furnitures are made and each one has a different form and a different name. But the truth of all the furnitures is one material, wood. So Brahman, the limitless Paramatma, is in essential form that which does not undergo any change. So what we call as Jagat, creation or Srishti is a kind of value addition without any real addition. So value addition means, to the large ocean, when you add many liters of water, will it make any difference to the ocean? There is no addition really. The ocean is always as full as it can be. This is called value addition. So when you see the golden ornaments, what do you see? in and through all the names and forms of ornaments, you see gold, the material. And similarly, when you see the furnitures, in and through the different forms and names of furniture, what you see is wood. So you don't need to make any physical change to the furniture to know that all of them is made from wood alone. Same way, even to the ornaments, you don't have to change them further. You can see gold is the only one inhering through all the different names and forms. This is knowledge. So, Satchidanandam Brahman, though is the only one, appears as many. So, Sukma Vibhutehe Yasya, the greatness of Paramatma is such that though he is one, all pervading, and is everywhere and is changeless, that Paramatma is atarkyam. Tarka agamyam, cannot be attained by any form of reasoning or scientific enquiry. This knowledge is revealed by Shastra Pramanam, and that too when it is taught by a Shrotriya Brahmanishtha Guru. And then the receiver, student also should have a qualified intellect. So then this reality, Paramartham, the reality of this Brahman is avikari. Avikaritvam is the Vastava Swarupam. The real nature of this Paramatma is that which never changes. Here, change means the sixfold changes which the Jivatma's body goes through. Paramatma is not subject to that. And if you talk about any other modification, one will wonder what kind of modification are we talking about? Is it something like how milk changes to become yogurt? Is that how Atma changes to become the different names and forms of the creation? No, it doesn't change like that. You can't say previously Atma was happy, now Atma is sad. Why? Because Upanishads being pramana, they are the authority to teach us what we cannot know with these sense organs. So Upanishad teaches that Paramatma is never subject to any change. Satchidanandam are not attributes of Paramatma. Sat, Chit, Anandam are words which convey the meaning of the nature of Paramatma by implication. So the implied meaning is that the very nature, the Swarupa of Paramatma is Sat, Chit, Anandam. And what does the Upanishad say? One of the things which the Upanishad says is Sarvalu idam Brahma. That is what is reflected in the shloka words Sarvam Khalu iti atra. Now these are words mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad. The Upanishad says it as Sarvam Khalu idam Brahma. That here in the shloka we are seeing as Sarvam Khalu ityatra. So all these differently appearing objects in this Jagat indeed is Brahman. So the entire creation is from Satchidanandam Brahma, who pervades the entire creation not only as the maker, as the cause, but also as the efficient cause, and the whole effect is also that same Brahman. Now, how do we know that the cause and the effect is Brahman? How do we understand this from the Upanishad statements? Shrutividbhihi means from Acharyaihi, the preceptors, Guru, the knowers of Brahman. They, after having studied the Shastra and deliberated upon the statements of the Upanishad and also going through a logical way of understanding Brahman, then they unfold the Paramartha Tattvam of Brahman, the absolute reality of Brahman. As what do they unfold? Sarva Adhishthanatvena, as that Chaitanyam which lends existence to everything in creation. The Acharyas say Sat Chit is that in which the Jagat abides. This Paramartha, absolute, unchanging nature is Niruktam, taught with great clarity by the teachers, by the great preceptors. Now the words used to tell the nature of Brahman is Tajjaditvat. Tajjaditvat is the word mentioned in this shloka, and it stems from what is told in Chandogya Upanishad as Tajjalan. Tajjalan is the Upanishad word, and this shloka is using the word Tajjaditvat. Now let's split the word and understand the meaning. In Tajjalan, you have Tat, Ja, La, An. Tat is Tato Jayate. Tato means Tataha. From that Paramatma, Jayate, this universe or this creation comes into existence, and then Liyate, back into that Paramatma or that Brahman, this creation merges again at the end of creation, at the end of time. Pralaya Kale, this whole creation merges back into its source. So in between, it is sustained also by that same Paramatma. That is what is meant by Aniticha. Tataha Jayate Liyate cha Aniti cha. So that's the meaning of Tat, Ja, La, An. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. All these three happen within that same Paramatma alone. So what you see as the Jagat, as the creation, is Paramatma. What is sustained is Paramatma, and that which into the whole creation merges or dissolves or resolves, that is also the same Paramatma. And this much is told by that one word which occurs in the Upanishad, Tajjalan iti. Then, how do I perceive this or visualize this? For that, the shloka is giving the example of Abdhi Tarangabham Abhinnam. So, Abdhi means ocean, Taranga means waves, Abham means similar to that, like that, Abhinnam, non-separate, is this Paramatma. So, just look at the ocean and the waves. What are those two? They are just names and forms, and they are both not at all different from their source. For both of them, the source is water. Ocean is the name for the large body of water. Waves are forms which arise from water, and then they merge back into that same water after staying for a while in water. Similarly, this creation being an effect, Karya Jatam, for which Brahman is the cause, Karanam. In other words, this creation emerges from Brahman, is sustained in Brahman, and merges back into Brahman. So, what is this creation? It is an appearance in Brahman alone. In other words, Satchidananda Advaya Brahman is the absolute reality. Tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ide. Unto that Brahman I offer my prayers, so that samsara, which is born of ignorance, may that be destroyed. यस्यातर्क्यं स्वात्मविभूतेः परमार्थं सर्वं खल्वित्यत्र निरुक्तं श्रुतिविद्भिः तज्जादित्वादब्धितरङ्गाभमभिन्नं तं संसारध्वान्तविनाशं हरिमीडे. नमस्ते.